Hi, everybody. Tim Hughes here. I'm the CEO and co-founder of DLA Ignite. With me today, I've got Lisa Salerno.
Salerno.
Nearly got it right.
No worries.
And Lisa and I are going to talk about two things. One is about art, and the other thing is about entrepreneurship. Before we get into that, Lisa, explain to people where they can get hold of you.
All of my social media is at Lisa K. Salerno, and that's how it is. It's just how my name is spelled with a K in the
Just
middle.
like it is on the screen.
Yeah, I'm frozen again.
Oh dear. Right. Okay. I don't know if there's any of the people at the audience, if there's anybody watching, and if they can see
Right.
whether you're frozen on the
Sure.
on the actual how it's going out. But as
Okay.
far as I can see, you're not.
Okay, perfect.
Let's cross our fingers and plow on and see what happens.
Sounds good.
So for me, we're actually going to show some of your art, aren't we?
Right.
I'm gonna. Where's the? Oh, here we are.
This should be a folder. Paper dolls.
Yeah. So there we go.
Yeah.
And in this folder, do you want me to start at the top?
Absolutely. Yeah. Paper dolls first. It's good.
Is this paper dolls? Sorry.
Yes.
Yep.
And somebody just commented the screen is fine. Thank you.
Oh, brilliant! Thank you so much, Andrew. Andrew saves us so many times. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you. Yeah, so the Paper Dolls was a series that I started in 2009, and I've been still working on this, years and years later. My daughter was little, and we were just playing at the kitchen table, and I started cutting out the paper dolls, the strings of paper dolls, just to entertain her. And she kind of walked away. She was like, 2, okay, that's cute, Mom. I'm leaving. And I never stopped playing. So
Right.
yeah, I was obsessed, and then I made this series based on, first it was based on female stereotypes and things like that. The Binder's Full of Women, that's from the 2012 presidential election. And when Mitt Romney said during the when he was campaigning, he said, "I've got binders full of women," in response to equal pay. So I'm like, what would that look like? And my imagination was sparked. So I just made like tons and tons of binders, and and each page was like a different stereotype or something. Yeah.
Do you want me to just keep going on with
Yeah,
these? Or?
sure.
Yeah.
Sure. That's one of my first ones. That is called Great Minds. And I like how the colors overlap.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? How they overlap. I really like that. Yeah.
Thank you. So some of them are more abstract, some of them are more, this has paper dolls in it. It is, but they're so layered, you can barely make them out. It's very
And how have you
deconstructed.
created this, Lisa?
I did a lot of different things. Sometimes I cut out my own stencils of the actual,
Yeah.
like make my own paper dolls. And I think with that one, I spray painted it many different times. Like I kept
Yeah.
turning the canvas, and then I embellished with paint after. That is Kaleidoscope. That's strictly spray paint. And I'm using
Spray
my
paint and
cutouts.
stencils, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, thank you. And that is in the Binders Full of Women. That's knocked up.
I thought there was an emotive behind that.
Yeah, that's the little baby. It's so cute.
Yeah. Oh, this is good. Yeah.
And I did some more. This one actually glows in the dark, and it's like about glowing. So some of these became more autobiographical as it went on, and because I think of like the art of American quilting, how it used to be a mosaic of a life. So each square is kind of like tells its own story. And yeah, that one's called Crack and Everything. And that's how they're displayed all together.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yes. It looks a bit like a quilt, but
Yes.
And so how big are they?
Well,
Is
they
that like
vary.
a tile on a, like in a
Um,
kitchen tile, or
yeah, well, those right there about 12 inches by 12 inches, so about,
okay, so like an album, an LP
yeah,
album.
and then some of them are bigger too, so I can, but they're actually like if some of them are like 24 by 24, so I can kind of mix them in if I wanted to. And some of
Right.
them are 36 by 36. That is that's one of my favorites. It's Reject. And
Rejects, yeah.
yeah, when I started out doing these, I was sending them out to galleries, and I kept getting all these rejections, and I kept, and excuse me for saying, I felt like I was just whoring myself out, like, like, please, you want to show my art, and I kept getting like, we don't know what to do with this, this, I don't know if this is sellable. So that's actually when I decided I'm going to take all these rejections, I'm going to make a game out of it, I'm going to make art out of it. And the funny thing is, I carved my own path after that. That
Mm,
is called Silenced.
right,
And
because
those
they're
are
earplugs.
earplugs.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I like that.
Thank you. That's another binders full of women's stay at home nothing.
Yep. That's nice.
Yeah, thank you. That one's called The Universe Within. And that kind of reminded me of Rumi. So some of them are spiritual, some of them are, that is Wild Woman. And I
That
actually
looks like
cut,
it's got hair stuck on it or something.
I actually cut my coat up. I had a winter coat. See, artists have to sacrifice for their art, right?
You have
So
to
I
sacrifice
used it
your
for like the armpit hair, and I had fun with that one.
art. Okay.
That one is You Are Here. And that's kind of
So so
more.
so so in terms of time,
Mhm.
crikey. Which series do you want me to look at now?
Okay, we can look at real quick the Artism, which is the blue portrait. That's my son. And this is only going to take a minute. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I was doing these paper dolls. I finally got my first solo show. And at the same week, like the day before, my son got diagnosed with autism. So it kind of stunk because it was like, yes, I have my solo show, things are going well. But then I couldn't paint for a year because, my house became a revolving door of therapists. And so I
Okay,
had to
right.
do other things. And then when I was finally ready to get back into my work, I'm like, I'm going to paint my son. It's going to help me process this. And the background is all IEPs ripped up, his evaluations. It's like,
Yeah.
you know what? He's more than a label. And then I ended
Yeah.
up doing more of his friends.
I,
Just and
I
it,
think I think it's lovely, and I can see that the way that you, I mean, autism now generally is a friend who I have who's autistic says it's his super special thing that's enabled him to. He's a multimillionaire,
wow, that's awesome.
and he's a multimillionaire because of his autism, as far as he's concerned.
Right. Um,
So it's a
yeah, that's one of his friends. And I did this as a more of a private thing. I didn't do this publicly. And so it did kind of go viral, which I wasn't expecting because I really didn't want that much attention for these.
yeah.
I just wanted to do it to comfort the families that, I encountered. Yeah, next we can talk about, what can we talk about? The Oracle series, just real quick. And then so that I started in 2017.
So what's the inspiration behind this?
Okay, so the Oracle series kind of happened at this time where I just kind of felt like, I don't know, like maybe because I was approaching 40, it was like a crisis and awakening. And I just had so much creativity. I was waking up in the middle of the night with visions of this, and I got to do this. And all of those are lino cut. I carved them and I made my own
Right.
stamps. And then I embellished with watercolors.
So Oracle being like you're picturing this Oracle like being or something, and that's providing you with the inspiration. Now I'm going to move it on because I want to.
Sure.
I'm
Yes.
trying to. I'm looking for my own curiosity.
Yeah, go ahead. So I was thinking of making like an oracle deck, like almost like tarot cards out of this. And a lot of these have physical elements and like ethereal elements. Like, there's hands and there's sky. And, each one has like a different meaning on somebody's personal journey. Yeah, that's transmutation. That is cosmic seed baby for new beginnings. That's the death card. And that one's about letting go. Exhale.
Ah.
That is called gift. Like the Pablo Picasso quote,
Yep.
The goal in life is to find your gift. Purpose is to give it away. I might have mangled that. That is
Rising from the ashes. Yeah.
Uh-huh. That's rise.
Yep.
And that is roots. And that is about embracing one's shadows.
So we've now looked at we've been and looked at a lot of the art.
Yeah.
So we're about halfway through.
Yeah, sure.
So let's talk about your entrepreneurial journey, because one of the things that you said earlier on, and you said when we met, was that you as an artist, you kind of had two paths to follow. Did I paint something which I knew would sell?
Right.
Or did I paint something which I found inspiring?
I had to go with the inspiration, because if it's not fun, I'm not going to want to do it. The business side, I have to see as a creative act in itself, or I'm going to get bored with it. So I'm always trying new things, getting myself out there. The camera interviews and doing things on camera, that was really hard for me to do. I'm still a little camera shy, but I'm getting over it. I mean, doing podcasts, presentations, I'm teaching. So there's so many ways you can get your work out there. Social media is huge. I know you're a social media expert, which is awesome. I started blogging. I said, I'm going to do my own thing. So I started something called the Support Living Artists series, and I interviewed a different artist every week. So I think another way to get yourself out there is make friends with other people in your field, share your platforms. Don't see them as your competition. See them as, helpful. You can learn from each other. Especially with something like art, you each have a different style. So it's not like somebody's going to say, I'm going to buy from this person and not this person. They're going to buy what they're drawn to. So, yeah. And with the social media, I've been, I used to follow more of the rules, like you should post to Instagram at this time and you should do this. I don't do that anymore. I just want to be authentic with it. And I'm focusing on
the best time to post to social media is now.
Right. When it's in your head, when you get the energy to do it.
Yeah. So today I read something from one of my team. It inspired me, and I wrote something, and I put it out.
Yeah.
And the best thing to do is to put it out. Don't leave it on your computer hard disk. Just do it.
Right.
And I think it's great that you're doing all of these things,
right?
Because I think it's great that we all bump into things, and you may say, "Well, I don't like writing, but or I'm gonna," and try some stuff. Try, and a lot of it is scary.
It is.
I did a piece to video today, and it still scares me to death. But
right, and I feel like you always should be a little scared, or you're just not doing it right.
Yeah, and I agree. And there's nothing wrong. The thing is that. The fact that if your screen freezes, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Because we're trying something and everybody knows, and we all know that we're pushing the boundaries and the frontiers of the technology. So we just, the art is fantastic, Lisa. It really is awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. You got to really get away from perfection too with this. It's hard, like when you're posting and just putting stuff out there, I see it as, I tell people it's like putting a message in a bottle out at sea when you're posting to social media. You don't know, maybe 2 people will see it, maybe thousands of people will see it, it's going to go where it's going to go. So maybe that's part of the,
So you as your journey as an artist, you did all the things that you went to art school.
Yes.
You studied with a number of successful artists.
Hmm.
And do you think that's inspired you, or have you rebelled against it, or what do
Ooh.
you see in terms of your view as an artist?
Oh, that's a really good question, Tim. So part of the part of my learning to be an artist was learning and, or learning to appreciate color and things like that and knowing all the facts. But I think there was some degree of unlearning to be done after I graduated and I could do my own thing. I'm sure, I don't know, maybe my professors won't like my work if they saw it now. Um, but you just kind of go and do your own path. And then maybe some people might not like it. Maybe they might think, maybe they'll be like, oh, your art's too colorful, it's too much. But you know what? That's not your cup of tea, you know?
Yeah, but I think that art often is in the beholder, isn't it?
Yes.
It's about about your own experiences.
Right.
And there's certain things. I this weekend I went to see the summer exhibition at the Royal Academy,
Mm,
which is all kinds of different art that is sent in.
right.
And some things you appreciate and some things you don't. And I think that is down to personal opinion. But all you can do as an artist, I think, is follow your own what you feel inside.
Right. Right. And I literally do that. I put whatever I'm feeling inside, sometimes physically on the canvas. Sometimes I'll write, how I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, and I'll use that as the texture. And you might not be able to read it, but there's layers there and it gives it something interesting. Yeah.
Mm. Yes. Um, and in a way, do you think the fact that you stopped, um, um, I don't want to use the term that you did,
Yeah.
because I don't want to get into trouble. Not that you're going to get into trouble, but do you think that the fact that you stopped trying to be commercial and
Mm.
follow your heart meant that you actually became, you tapped then into your creativity or your creative vein or archery?
I believe so. Definitely. Because, and I still get people that come up to me. I'm putting whatever I want to do out there. And if I get like a commission or work, sometimes I'll honestly get, I love your work. Can you paint my cat? But people are still coming to me for art because they love the energy, they love the color. So maybe what I'm putting out there doesn't fit their purpose, but maybe something else will. And that's how you connect authentically, by being yourself.
Yes, and I think the thing about the commissions is that quite often when the commissions come in, it's a paycheck.
Right, right,
And sometimes you're able to do other things because of the way that those come. So even though you may go, oh, no, no, not another cat, not that saying that you
right,
do,
exactly.
but sometimes that it gives you choices.
Right, it does. I mean, during COVID, I was doing, because I'm also a realtor, and that kind of helped me think more business like as well. And I ended up painting closing gifts, quick, really quick, affordable closing gifts of pictures of the houses for other realtors. So that was kind of something like a little, I always say if you're doing something creative, multiple streams of income and look wherever you can get it. Because you never know. One time one will generate more, another time the other one will work more for you.
Because I mean, is that as a realtor? Is that something is that your job?
It is. It's actually, I'm doing more with my art right now.
Right.
I did get my real estate license, but right now the market's a little crazy, and I've been home with my kids during COVID, so I do like here and there a little deal, and that helps. That supplements my art. Maybe I'll do more in the future. So who knows? Who knows where it'll lead me?
Well, Lisa, it's been fascinating, and it's been great actually showing the world your art. I mean, it really is fantastic, and I love the series,
Yeah.
and I love the colors, the way that you look at it. And what I was looking at Have I? I've taken. I've actually shut the thing down. I was looking at the first one we looked at was paper dolls, wasn't it?
Yes.
So when we go to share screen,
I'm working on the anatomical hearts now. That's my latest.
When we go to here,
yeah.
So for me, it's, you know, the colors that you've got is a kaleidoscope.
Yes.
Now it's like one of those things you had as a toy. I don't know if you ever had one where you looked through and it was but you've got so many colors in there which you've created, because it's not like you've it's like you've created it using multiple colors.
Definitely.
So it's amazing.
Thank you.
So Lisa, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your art with us and sharing your story. It's been, for me, I'm lost for words. It's been really inspirational in terms of listening to you talk about your art, talk about how that's inspired you, and then also listen to you in terms of how you've used that as a way of building your entrepreneurship. And I know when I first started talking to you, I wanted to interview you. The fact that here we have somebody, you know, people think entrepreneurship is writing software or whatever. Here is someone that is an entrepreneur through their art and their creativity. And that should be applauded. Thank you so much for coming in and talking to us.
Thank you, Tim. It's been an honor and a pleasure.
Thank you. So Lisa, can you remind people where they can get hold of you?
Okay, yes. On all social media channels, at Lisa K. Salerno.
Brilliant. Lisa, thank you so much. Remember the K, yes. So Lisa, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us today and for displaying your art with us. It's been amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.